Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 3 of the Virtual Island Summit. My name is Christian Zacchino. I am the Director of Operations at Island Innovation, and I am pleased to welcome you to this fantastic session titled Navigating the Responsible Tourism for Islands. Islands around the globe are iconic tourist destinations, but they face unique challenges in an evolving tourism landscape. In this session, we will explore how climate change, technological advancements, and shifting travel preferences are shaping the future of tourism on islands. Before we begin, let me tell you a bit about Island Innovation. I know that we have a lot of people coming back from the previous 6 editions of the Virtual Island Summit, but we also have a lot of newcomers. I want to let you know that Island Innovation is a sustainable development consultancy, primarily focusing on islands. Our services include island development strategies, impact program design and coordination, capacity building, events, strategic communications, and government affairs. We are trusted by clients around the globe, and if you're interested in learning more about our work, please reach out to us using the contact information that should be available in the chat shortly. Before we go into the session, we would like to get to know you better. So you should see a poll in your screen right now. And please let us know your gender, what region you are connecting from, the sector and the industry that you belong to. Let me just quickly see what we have here on the chat. A lot of people from different sides of the world. Thank you for joining us from the UK, from Mauritius, from Martinique, from the Seychelles, from Zanzibar, from the US, from Galapagos Islands in Ecuador, from Hamburg, from Grenada, from Chile, from Australia. Thank you so much for your participation. Trinidad and Tobago, St. Helena Island, Ghana. A very diverse representation. I am glad to welcome you to this session. Now let's use the chat function not only to introduce yourself and let us know where you're joining from. You can also make any comments during the session, exchange contact information, etc. However, the questions should be added to the Q&A box that you will see on the lower left of your Zoom app, and we will use those questions on the Q&A section of the session. So please go ahead, and when you have any questions, add them to the Q&A. We should see the poll results about now. There we go. So we have a lot of people from different sides of the world, mostly even split between male and female. We have a lot of representation from the Caribbean and Europe, tied with 29%, followed very closely by North America with 25%. We have Africa with 8%, Asia with 4%, the Indian Ocean with 3%, thank you so much. South and Central America, 2% as well. Most of you are coming from the private sector, followed by academia, NGO, and the government. And the industry that you belong to are mostly about environmental services or ocean conservations. No, that's the second place, because the first place is tourism, of course, given the topic of the session. We also have people in politics and governments, energy, management consulting, waste and circular economy, finance, and other sectors. Thank you so much for your participation. Reading out some comment here from Prince Edward Island, Canada, from Madrid, from Morocco. Thank you so much. All right. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to this session. I'm going to be moderating this session. We have a fantastic panel ahead. I would like to give some introduction remarks regarding the topic in hand. Islands, with their unique ecosystem and often fragile environments, present specific challenges for responsible tourism. Delicate ecosystems are particularly susceptible to the pressures of mass tourism, which can lead to environmental degradation, cultural erosion, and economic inequality. Responsible tourism on islands seeks to minimize all of these negative impacts while maximizing the benefits for both visitors and local communities. Key principles of responsible island tourism include environmental conservation, which involves protecting natural resources such as coral reef, beaches, forests, from pollution, overdevelopment, and habitat destruction. Strategies may include implementing sustainable waste management practices, reducing plastic consumption, and supporting conservation efforts. Also, cultural preservation is very important because we need everyone to respect all of the local traditions of the place that they are visiting, the customs, the heritage. Responsible tourism also takes this into consideration. This is also achieved by promoting cultural experiences, supporting local artisans, and ensuring that visitors are aware and adhere to cultural norms. Economic sustainability, because responsible tourism aims to generate economic benefits for local communities without compromising their long-term well-being. Community involvement, because all local communities should be actively involved in the planning and management of tourism activities in their local places. Eco-friendly accommodations, sustainable transportation, local sourcing of produce, and educational programs are also other examples where responsible tourism has been the star of the new challenges and also making our world a better place, because you can enjoy tourism, you can enjoy your destination, and protecting it at the same time. I would like to welcome our first speaker for the panel, Mr. Miles Mercera, CEO of the Bonaire Tourism Board. Miles, the floor is all yours.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. And unfortunately, my camera isn't working this morning, so I'm doing it without a camera. But it's most importantly for us to have an open discussion on what tourism means for our islands and how it is changing. So the intention for the next few minutes is for me to share some insights from what I see happening in the world, especially how technology is shaping as well the tourism industry. And I want to get some feedback from all of you once we start this morning. As we know, I'm from the island of Bonaire, where sustainability and technology goes hand in hand, and where we really invest in trying to understand how we can use the benefits of technology to offset all of the, let's say, attention that tourism gets on our islands. So the first two question is a true or false question, and I want you to answer that via the chat or share it as well with your peers, just for me to understand how you feel the technology is impacting us. The first question is, virtual reality and augmented reality technologies are predicted to replace traditional travel experiences in the near future. True or false? What would you say? And I see some people already saying that in the chat. It's true. Some people say it's false. So the question is, will it actually replace it? The second one is artificial intelligence, AI, can be used to personalize travel itineraries by analyzing a traveler's past behavior and preference. Here I see a lot of people commenting true, false, enhanced, true again. So again, just to spark your engagement to understand how technology is shaping all of us, but as well how to understand how you feel about it. So from my perspective, the main question I would want to address today is travel changing? And then if technology is changing it, or is it something else? When we look at the developments, and the first true and false question I have talked about is virtual reality. The whole image or thinking or belief or even reality where we're dealing with, where we think that we can see the world without actually having to visit the location, because we can see it, we can sense it, we can experience it. And so it's basically, that's the whole power of the virtual reality. So seeing something without having to get on a plane to be able to actually see or explore it. But oftentimes, what I always say is that we forget that travel at the end of the day really goes down into a feeling. It is something that people are searching for. People are searching for a certain type of belonging, something, a feeling that they're feeling of how they want to feel, what they want to see, an emotional experience that they want to experience. So even though technology is providing us some opportunity right now to be able to maybe see some parts of the world without actually having to be there, virtual reality isn't actually beating or changing the reason why people travel. People in nowadays, especially the new generation, of course, we say yes, we only have a 30-second time span. We only want to see things very fast and quick. But the emotional reason why people are traveling will not be replaced by the technology, because it is something very personal that you would have to experience. The similar question, if I ask you how technology influences maybe a different industry, which is a medical industry, there you feel that people are using it because this isn't about emotions. This is about black and right, right or wrong. This is about being precise. This isn't about leaving any room for emotional feeling of how you feel that day. It is a work that you have to do based on a precise figure, and this is where technology and virtual reality is really getting an approach on changing it. So I'm reading your chat as I'm talking because I really want to hear is how you feel. But the emotional sense and connection of sharing and being who we are and why we travel will not change. So technology is not really changing the reason why people travel, but it is changing perhaps maybe how people search. A big question is, okay, if you've asked me maybe 20 years ago, the whole AI revolution of how people search an itinerary of what do you want to do wasn't known. We were still doing 20 years ago, and even up to today, still some travelers go to these big trade shows and they stand in line and they get a piece of paper to get an information to be able to travel. Here you see that technology is shaping the way people, the reason of choice, but also what they want to do, because they have a different way of being exposed to it. And I think if I asked one of you, when was the last time that you actually visited a trade show to be able to book a travel vacation in the past maybe 10 years? Did you go to the show to book a vacation, or did you actually were you exposed in a different way? So share your comments in the comment box. I would love to hear more about that as well. Based on the future of sustainable tourism, which is again the whole reason why we're here today and how technology is shaping it, one of the things that I always talk about is what is the definition of sustainable tourism? And when you go back and you ask maybe the donkeys, every person has a different way of answering this same question. The first question is, if you ask a hotel, sustainable tourism would say, I asked a general manager one day, I said, yes, this is my property. I'm sustainable because I have solar panels at my hotel. Or people say, yes, but I have a rental car and all of my cars are electric. Some people say at a hotel, the housekeeping says, no, we are very sustainable because we don't wash, let's say, the towels every day, and the people get a chance to you reuse the towel. Some people say it's about the green certification or having a digital boarding pass when traveling. Let us remind ourselves that these comments or these notes that we just explained are only considered 10% of actually what sustainable tourism is all about. Sustainable tourism goes far beyond only shaping different businesses just because maybe it's cheaper based on the electricity bill, or maybe because you're using less water. And the 10% is not sufficient for actual driving sustainable tourism development. So the question remains, if I ask you today, is tourism a well-being for an economic driver, or how do we, an economic drive for well-being, how do we enrich our souls and our people to be able to actually use it from that perspective? Because the same story about tourism, when you flip the coin, has an opposite side of what it actually means when we talk about how it damages our environment, or maybe when we talk about pollution. We understand that the tourism industry is shaping, is changing, and is one of the polluters, but we also talk about how the world is standing up, and maybe, for example, how our neighborhoods are changing in the world because the growth of Airbnb or the growth of apartments being rented out in traditional neighborhoods where you don't know who your neighbor is anymore, where people are now fighting against these types of, let's say, changes because they want to keep a certain level of personalized touch within their authentic souls and how they experience it. So whenever we talk about sustainable tourism development, the question always remains, how do you actually define it? And I know that you're sitting at home right now and you're thinking, okay, how can I participate? But this is a definition that some people say it is all about. Tourism that takes full account of its current, future, and economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of visitors, the industry, the environment, and the host communities. If you agree, I want you to still stand up, even if you're sitting somewhere at a cafe, stand up. If you disagree, sit down. And then you can write that in the chat as well to have a feeling of how you believe on this and how you believe the definition of sustainable tourism is. I see some of you saying it is you're standing up, so you agree with it. At the end of the day, what we all know, um, um, the question of how to define it is very, very difficult. It's similar to having being married in life. It's very difficult to actually do it right. And I see some people standing, they agree with it. But even if this is the exact definition of it, it is a difficult task to actually reach it. So if we go back to sustainable tourism, at the end of the day, I always say that the most important element in it is our people, the biggest asset that is not replaceable in the world. Everything else, when we talk about hotels, when we talk about everything that we develop, the people and the nature of our people surrounding it is something that is intangible, something that we cannot replace, something that we cannot reproduce. It's a culture, it's a feeling that we cannot change. So the sustainable tourism is something that is everyone's business. But most of the time, when we talk about sustainable tourism, we only focus on the solar panels or how we can reuse our water or our water bottles or how we can change that. But we forget that the most important element of what it has to do is also our people and to conserve whatever is the feeling and the culture that we have within our societies and our people. So when we talk about responsible tourism management, we talk about putting things into perspective. How do we actually measure the success of tourism? And today I want to challenge all of you that we oftentimes as destinations, we only look at it from a average spend, average daily rate, what we call ADR. We talk about the number of cruise ships, we talk about the number of visitors, and we see every island in the Caribbean only on a monthly basis, we only shout out we have a 10% growth, we have an 8% growth, or we have a 6% decline. But we don't actually talk about the indicators that really measure sustainable tourism development because we're only focusing on the positive strategy of having a growth a mindset of having more visitors because then you are the first destination to reach 1 million, the first cruise call to reach 6,000 cruise passengers. And again, I'm from the tourism industry, nothing against how we measure it in the past 40 years, but for the new set of 40 years, we need to make sure that we measure it based on actual ROIs that are measurable based on sustainable tourism performances, based on the index of the quality of life of our people, based on the index of how we impact our environment. We should be able to say, for example, that we have reached a maximum capacity of visitors that we allow in a certain region, that we allow during a certain day of time. And the question I always say is, how do we inspire and leave no footprint behind for the future generations that still need to enjoy this motherland of earth that we all call home? And when we talk about people, even though that we say it is the most important part of everything, Still, our labor laws in the tourism industry are ignored. We invest in technology, we invest in having digital check-ins and digital boarding passes and everything being modern in the best Wi-Fi possibility, but we do not invest as a region in our human capital, our only asset that is unchangeable. Our human capital, when we talk about our labor laws, when we talk about how to make sure that people don't have to work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day for shifts starting at 5 a.m. to be able to serve breakfast at 6 a.m. How do we make sure that it is a sector that we call it is sexy to work in, that we would want to work in? So if we believe in this, the power and the biggest asset as being our people, we need to make sure that we also invest in the labor laws to protect the biggest, one of the biggest assets. And it's oftentimes when we talk about sustainable tourism development in conferences, we only focus it on every technological advance that will make it happen, but we're forgetting about our asset. And our labor laws are not getting the priorities that it should. So when we get back to travel, and I want to leave you with these two a few slides. When we talk about travel, when we look at the traveler in front of us in a yellow skirt or a yellow presentation, she's happy. This person is open to share with a meal with others. Whenever you're in your own comfort zone, you're say, you're having your own meal and you're always on the go. But whenever you're traveling, you're always open to share. You're always open to explore. You're always open to read or talk about something new. When you're traveling, you're the first one to share it with the world. So we need to make use of this inspirational, transformative power to be able to inspire how tourism can be used as a force for education of the world, education of a new mindset of the way we use our value, the way we understand what is our value with the world. So when we talk about Bonaire and when we talk about the tourism industry, we need to make sure that our communities are really traveling to be part of something new. For example, when we look at the island of Bonaire, well, we have tried to work on making sure that visitors come in, but they're also planting a cold tree for each time that they visit. Once they're on the island, make sure they're also participating on some human capital events on the island. So at the end of the day, we need to make sure that COVID allowed us to inspire travel, inspire a new sense of experience. And the final slide talks about when we look at this picture as an example, this does not represent maybe the true Caribbean experience because we're only focusing on this. But the Caribbean is much more than only sun, sea, and sand. It talks about this, but it also talks about experiences such as this, which are sustainable, unique experiences that oftentimes are forgotten in the customer journey and the customer experience. So whenever we go back home as a final slide, we need to make sure that we do not only position our Caribbean islands as a next magnet on the refrigerator, but actually as an educational tool for an experience where we can actually inspire a new generation to think differently on how we manage tourism. So with that said, I want to thank you all for my presentation, and I hope I raise some triggers for us to have a great discussion later on.
Thank you so much, Miles. Your presentation was remarkable. I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat, so thank you everyone for your participation. Now we have Stavros Kapetanakis. He is the CEO of the Thalassius Crete Holiday Home and Domicile Development in the Greek island of Crete. Stavros, you can take it away.
Okay, hello everybody. I am in Crete, one of the biggest island, and it is I based here, and I would like to also can you help me about sharing the screen or to see some of the
We see your
things?
screen, but not the presentation, Stavros.
Yes, can you do this?
Okay, let me just quickly stop sharing.
Crete is an island, the biggest in Crete, the biggest island in Greece. You can drive from in a few hours, 4 hours, from one part to the other part, and you can see mountains, you can see sunny beaches, you can see a lot of places. You can see it is like a small part of the world. You can find everything in this island. As you can see also in the video, you will see we have a lot of festivals, we have a lot of cooking, a lot of Cretan products. The Cretan diet is very, very popular all over the world. The people, some from United States University, they made some research and they found the Cretan diet one of the most success diet all over the world, and this is a result to live for a long time. Besides the beauty and the food, the people of Crete, which is important, and Miles before told about the people, are very friendly. They are welcome. They love their tradition. We have a lot of traditions in Crete. We have Orthodox Easter. We have a lot of festivals. We have all over the year. We do a lot of festivals. Also, we have a lot of monuments like Minoan Palace, Samaria Gorge. We have some nice beach villages next to the sea. You can approach only by the sea. And this is the most important is the quality of life. Crete has very good quality of life. All of this with the Cretan diet is a good combination. That's why a lot of people around the world, they like to come here and visit and stay here. So we have to protect this quality of life. We have to protect our island, and we have to be sustainable. We as a company, we have different resorts. One of our resorts is more eco-friendly. We call Thalasses, is a luxury retreat for responsible travelers. We believe that we don't count numbers, as Miles before told us. We prefer less travelers, but to have an experience. Of course, in Thalasses Resort is an amazing place. It is next to the sea. It is a place with a lot of open space. We build, and when we continue to build, we extend, we respect the surround, which is very important. We use materials friendly, we use local materials, we use local builders, and we try to join the local community during the building and of course during the operation of this resort, which is also important. We are next to the sea in a nice place. And what we do? Of course, we have solar panel, but of course, we have to discuss for the next day. Solar panel must be for all, especially in the southern parts of the world, which we have more sun, must be something that they have to do. Actually, they are not all the hotels or the resorts, they don't have so much solar panels to cover the energy. In our resort, we have the let's say we don't spend energy at all. We are zero. We are A+ in energy category, and we have swimming pools with salt water. We don't put chemicals, but it is something very good. The people to enjoy and to come for their to enjoy for holidays, but of course not to spend energy. This is the one part. The other part is we are close to the nature. We are just 10 minutes from the town of Rethymno. Rethymno is a small town with a very good quality, very peaceful, very quiet. And we are in the middle of Crete. We have two airports, one in Iraklio, the other is in Chania. In this town and in our resort, we try to educate our travelers, and this is very important. Of course, we have, as you can see also in the video, we have our vegetable gardens. We have a lot of space around of our resort, a lot of fields. We product a lot of vegetables. We product some of the things that you can find, a lot of herbs you can find in Crete. We product honey, thyme honey, which is one of the most famous around the world. And all of this we offer to the local community, and also we offer to our guests. This is also very important. And from the other part, we try to educate the travelers to have an experience, how we product, what we do. We only put water, we don't put any chemicals, we don't put any medicines for all of this, because we don't sell, we offer for free. So we educate the travelers, and they have our guests, and they have that experience, the experience to see how we product. You can see the children, their children, to have, they are coming from big cities and they have this experience that is amazing. From the other part, we educate for the food. I remember always, because a long time ago, 10 years ago, we start to add in our breakfast the Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt is a little bit different than the usual yogurt you can taste everywhere. It's a little bit, it's not so sweet, it's not a cream, it's yogurt, it is original yogurt. The people at the beginning, they didn't like. We try to educate the guests and to taste, and then they read some researches from some universities and they saw the difference and starts to have. Also, we have a lot of nice cheese in the area. The meat and the fish we use in our resort are from the sea, and the meat is close by in 10 minutes. We have also the famous raki. Raki is a nice alcohol, but famous, and in 10 minutes from our resort they produce. So the people, they have this experience. So this is something that we educate. Of course, this is not enough. In our beach, we have turtles. We cooperate with Archelon. Archelon is a world union that they protect these turtles, caretta caretta. These turtles, you can see, they are coming every night during the summertime to the beach. They leave their eggs and then they go back. We protect. We are very close to the nature. This is also very helpful. And for all of this, we combine with the local community. In our resorts, they are working only local people. So they have all of this experience. And we try always to teach and to educate. Educate the travelers, educate also the local community. A lot of times we do volunteers, and we with our staff, and we clean some beaches. We do a lot of activities. We try to help. Sometimes the local hospital, we offer some of the things, we offer some of the food, or in some other things we try to do. We say to our guests, if they don't want they don't need to eat everything, we give to some local communities, because there are people that they need. But of course, and all this is not enough. We use the technology. We have maps, as you can see here, and we try with the technology to give some directions to unexplored Crete. We give directions with QR codes, and they can go there. We suggest to all, and we give for free bikes, so the bicycles, so they can bicycle to go to the town or nearby, and don't use their car. These are some of the things we do. The other thing we ask from our guests to donate a book for the local library. We do a lot of, here in this photo, you can see an old lady with a modern chef, and they cook only with traditional materials and food, and the people, they taste, they become a part of this. And the other thing is, I believe that, as Maris before told us, you can see also here the turtles. I believe that the people, and this is our responsibility for all, not only for the business people, but for all is responsibility, the sustainability. So we have to pay attention for this. That's why we have to do one by one to do something. As you can see here, we do cooperations with the university. What that means, we educate new students about tourism, about sustainability of tourism, but also we cooperate with some professors, and we have now from next year, we are going to have to be archaeologists for one day. Our guests, they are going with apart with a team of a professor to make some excavations. Around of Crete, in Crete, we had old towns, old villages. So there are many parts, and also there is a famous museum, a lieutenant close by in the town I'm living, and the guests, they can excavate and maybe they can find something. This is something that very interesting. And we continue, we make a research how to all the time to be how to say it, to be more sustainable and to protect because this is our present and this is our future. But I am optimistic. I feel that we are on a good way, and I can see from year to year the travelers, they are more educated. We don't say to the people, we try to the people if we prefer not to clean a lot of bed linen and sheets and all of these kind of things. But if we do, when we do, of course, because it is necessary, we use special, nobody can see this, but this is what we do. We use special materials for cleaning. All of these are very important. We have to do in our home, first of all. We have to believe that, and then if we believe and if we do for ourselves, we can do in our business. This is a part of life. It's like the diet. If you have some more kilos and you want to not to lose some kilos, you have to change your life. The same is for the sustainability. I believe we have to use the technology, and it is nowadays it's more easy with AI and to use the technology to make more sustainable everything. So there is a future, and I think it's going to be the future is going to be better. And I think we see what is going on. For example, nowadays we have a serious problem with the water all over the world. This is also a serious problem. So we have to pay attention and to take care and to do our best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stavros, for your remarkable presentation as well. Looking forward to what you have next in the pipeline in your projects. They seem very interesting as well. I'm conscious of time, so let's go with Alejandra Cruz Garcia from the UN World Tourism Organization. Alejandra, the floor is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christian, and thank you everyone who is today watching us. Today I'm speaking on behalf of Antonio Lopez de Avila, the Director of the Innovation, Education, and Investments at UN Tourism, who wasn't able to attend today, but I'm a member of his team from the Innovations Department. I am based in Madrid, where we are at our headquarters here from UN Tourism. So yeah, today I'm honestly very honored to speak about the future of responsible tourism for islands, because this is an increasingly important topic that we continually address here at UN Tourism. Because we are very concerned on how to preserve these beautiful destinations for the future generations, as previously you were mentioning, Stavros, that this is something of the utmost importance, right? To think about the future generations. So from the UN tourism perspective, our focus is on three key premises. One would be mobility and influx control, the environmental impact, and the social impact as well. So first, let's consider the mobility and the influx control. These elements are crucial in managing the visitors' numbers and ensuring that the island infrastructures remain resilient. So efficient public transportation systems are, of course, a cornerstone of this effort. By promoting the use of electric buses and trams, is an amazing way to minimize congestion and reduce the carbon footprint. But also implementing visitor quotas in ecologically sensitive areas can help to preserve this delicate environment as well for those who are visiting, and even regulating cruise ship arrivals, right? This is a particular big issue in islands where during peak times, the management of the influx of tourists can really impact the ecosystem and can feel very overwhelming, not just for the resources, but also from the people that are living in the island. Now, this is, of course, very important, but I want to focus a bit more on the environmental impact. And one of the examples that I wanted to discuss today is the island of El Hierro, which is a small island in the Canary Islands. And El Hierro, as you may know, stands as a beacon of sustainability. This one is an example that I wanted to address because the El Hierro has really taken remarkable strides toward environmental stewardship. So first of all, they built the Corona del Viento hydroelectric plant, which really made El Hierro to significantly cut its reliance on fossil fuels, showcasing the immense potential of the renewable energy initiative. Now, the island has a super ambitious goal to achieve 100% sustainability in the next 8 years. So this demonstrates that they really have this clear vision and commitment to eco-friendly practices. So by establishing this protected natural areas, El Hierro is really serving as a model for how islands can conserve biodiversity while embracing tourism. So El Hierro is on a groundbreaking journey to become basically the world's first island to achieve the 100 sustainability. So they plan to do this from some time between the next 4 to 8 years, according to plan. So we hope that they really make it to this time frame. But yeah, last summer, and these numbers are very impressive because last summer El Hierro set a world record by meeting its entire energy needs with a renewable power for 24 consecutive days. So basically, this huge milestone demonstrates the feasibility of really eliminating fossil fuel dependence. Now, the island's president has really outlined the strategic plan to achieve full energy autonomy through clean energy, potentially becoming the first fully sustainable island globally. So how is this possible? Well, central to this strategy that El Hierro is having is the hydroelectric power plant of Corona del Viento, which supplies right now approximately 60% of the island's energy. Now, this facility combines as well wind and future wave power, photovoltaics, and strategic battery storage, which exemplifies El Hierro's commitment to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and achieving the energy self-sufficiency. Now, El Hierro's sustainability vision extends beyond energy. They are also embracing eco-friendly tourism, organic agriculture, and even waste reduction. They implemented the sustainability plan back in 1997. So the island has seen remarkable advances in this almost 30 years. And they include a 40,000 ton reduction in greenhouse gas emissions since 2015, and the development of a comprehensive sustainable transport plan aimed at expanding the electric public transit and reducing the private car use. Now, a UNESCO, El Hierro is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve since the year of 2000, and is also a member of the Global Geoparks Network since 2015. So basically, they are really leveraging their unique geological and cultural heritage to promote sustainable economic growth. The island's ecological agriculture initiatives, including its leadership in organic banana production, reflect the deep commitment to preserve their natural environment. So as a forward-thinking example, El Hierro really illustrates how islands can innovate in sustainability, offering valuable lessons for regions worldwide in their quest for renewable energy and environmental harmony. And well, lastly, another peak of the social of the tourism impact is, of course, the social one. So this, of course, could be like the theme of one full presentation. But of course, one of the things that we consider big here at UN Tourism is the management of vacation rentals in a way more effective to prevent housing shortages and even ensure that tourism revenues benefit local communities directly instead of big corporations. And now encouraging cultural exchanges also allows tourists to engage authentically with local traditions, deepening cultural understanding and mutual respect, which is something that sometimes is forgotten with tourists coming to in this case to islands and mostly like destroying what's already there, right? So it's more about really fostering a culture of education with the visitors. And also something that is of course worth discussing is if it's worthwhile to have more stringent regulatory framework that guarantee that tourism supports these local communities through fair employment practices and equitable economic distribution. So this is also something that is very much at the forefront at UN Tourism. And of course, we take island tourism very seriously. Just so you know, last year, back in 2023, we held the Tourism Tech Adventures Canarias in collaboration with the Institución Ferial de Canarias, with INFECAR. And this was a startup competition to serve the most sustainable, innovative, and disruptive business models to provide the answers for smart solutions to the complex challenges that island innovations are facing, especially after the aftermath of the pandemic. So this event was held back in March of 2023, and the winner was this startup company that is based in the Dominican Republic called SOS Carbon. They are basically a spin-off organization from the MIT, from the Mechanical Engineering Department at the MIT, at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And basically what they do, they develop this whole technology around sequestering sargassum in the deep ocean and turning the problem into an opportunity for carbon offsetting. So this is something that we know that is very out there. Like we need to provide the technological solutions for what the islands for the problems that the islands have. And this initiative was really interesting because we saw that a lot of the participants to this startup competition were really focused on islands by themselves. So in conclusion, what I just want to address is that shaping the sustainable tourism model requires not just strategic planning, but also like this collaboration between governments, local communities, and the tourism industry, and of course these forums. Thank you so much for Island Innovation for this initiative, because it's really important to really have this conversation out there and to really make sure that we understand what are the problems so that we can actually come with a solution. So the example that I wanted to illustrate with El Hierro, of course, is very close to home. It's very close here to Spain, which of course made a lot of sense. But I think this is something that we all want to achieve, not just for El Hierro, but for all of the islands all over the world, that they can actually become independent from fossil fuels. And I think we are in the right direction, but of course, these problems need to be addressed, and we need to be able to put into the table the possible solutions. So this is my input right now, and of course looking forward to the questions as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. It's remarkable to hear all of these examples, and we can see that the Canary Islands is going in the right direction. So thank you for sharing those. I just want to let our audience know that we will extend this session for about 10 or 15 minutes more to accommodate the speeches and the Q&A section. And now I welcome Ms. Hafsa Mamba, the CEO of the Zanzibar Tourism Commission. Hafsa, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Christian, and thank you for having me here. It's really exciting to be here. As mentioned, I'm the CEO of the Zanzibar Commission for Tourism and also a very passionate advocate for sustainable tourism. Zanzibar's tourism industry in recent years has experienced remarkable growth. We've actually surpassed the visitors number pre-COVID. This is great, but it also comes with a set of challenges, particularly in terms of sustainability. The influx of tourists has actually put a pressure on our natural resources. It has also put pressure on our infrastructure and local communities. We've observed an increase strain on our beaches, coral reefs, and historical sites. Additionally, the rise in accommodation tourism facilities has led to concerns about waste management, energy consumption, and the preservation of our unique culture and traditions. Now, that's obviously a lot, but we've made it our personal mission to drive necessary changes in our industry together with my team at the Commission for Tourism. Our goal is to create a tourism sector that is sustainable across all aspects, from business operation, environmental protection, to community involvement. Our goal is to strike a balance where visitors can enjoy the beauty of Zanzibar while ensuring that our natural resources are preserved for future generations and our local communities thrive from the benefits of tourism. Now, fortunately, we're not starting from scratch. Zanzibar's legal and policy framework already supports the development of a sustainable industry. Our tourism policies emphasize the importance of actually having, sustainable tourism, community involvement, and cultural preservation. So this actually provides a very solid foundation for sustainability initiatives. Now, building on this foundation, in February last year, we launched the Greener Zanzibar campaign. This campaign was actually spearheaded by the private sector, but under the Commission for Tourism's guidance. This initiative also birthed the first Zanzibar Sustainable Tourism Declaration, which outlines 5 key commitment areas for businesses to voluntarily adopt more sustainable practices. These commitments areas include 1, sustainable food sourcing from land and sea, 2, effective waste management and reduction of plastic usage, 3, preserving natural spaces and restoring ecosystems, 4, promoting local Zanzibari culture and expertise, and lastly, reducing greenhouse gas emissions in operation. Now, fast forward 18 months later, we're taking another significant step forward. We're actually currently developing a framework for a tailor-made green certification for our tourism industry, with the aim of having a first draft ready by the end of this year. This certification will provide a structured approach to implementing and recognizing sustainable practices across our tourism sector. Our efforts align with global sustainability goals. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Our efforts align with global sustainability goals and demonstrate Zanzibar's commitment to preserving its natural beauty and cultural heritage while promoting economic growth, especially when Zanzibar joined the Global Sustainable Tourism Council this year. We believe that by embracing sustainability, we can actually attract travelers to Zanzibar's unique charm while also ensuring long-term prosperity for our people. As we move forward, we face challenges, but we're optimistic about the future. Now, part of the transformation that Zanzibar is currently undergoing to become more sustainable tourist destination includes also diversification of our offerings. We're traditionally known, obviously, as a beach destination, but have a lot more to offer than just beach, including rich history and diverse heritage. So we now promote and develop more products, if you like, including sports tourism, MICE, and heritage tourism that we know will also create more opportunities for our people, but also showcase our uniqueness. Now, the support from both the public and private sectors has actually been really encouraging. Together, we're working towards a tourism model that not only attracts visitors, but also protects our environment and heritage, but equally benefits our communities and contributes to sustainable economic development. The journey towards fully sustainable tourism is long, we must admit, but we're committed to this path. We invite all stakeholders from businesses, obviously government agencies, as well as individual tourists to join us on this remarkable journey that we believe is possible. Now, in conclusion, I hope I was able to shed some light on the initiatives that we're currently taking on our little gem in East Africa. And I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I look forward to some fruitful discussions that we'll have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Hafsa, for your wonderful presentation. I would like to welcome all of our panelists to please turn on your video and audio for the Q&A section. Stavros, Miles?
Yes, of course, my camera is still.
No worries. All right, fantastic. So, a lot of participation from our audience and different parts of the world represented. Thank you for that. The first question that we have here from Rashid Bouihia is addressed to Miles. How do you think new technologies can be used to implement adaptation strategies in the tourism sectors of small island development states to reduce all the negative spillovers, but maintaining income generation for local populations?
That's a very good question. I would say I want to give an example of what we call how we use technology. I'm going to just share one quick slide of the presentation for us to have it. Can you see my screen? You see a big cruise ship, right? So as an
We're seeing the one with the fridge magnets.
Okay. Let me stop sharing it. Okay, but basically I want to talk about let's say the cruise ship industry. The cruise ship industry has been an industry where we always think very negatively about how it impacts the environment, the islands, and maybe having 6,000 or 8,000 people at the same time on a small island. We have used, for example, technology on the island of Bonaire to understand how the capacity works. We have understand how it impacts as well our nature. As an example, we have used technology to identify periods where we close off certain beaches because we believe, based on technology, we have understood that certain times during the day, the beaches, let's say the corals are reproducing. We see it as well in terms of our turtles. We see it as well in terms of the impact on the environment, where we measure the quality of the waters. So we're using technology to be able to manage, let's say, what we call the crowd management, to understand where do we position and share, let's say, the crowds during certain times during the day. But also what we have seen that technology is available for us to use is that certain parts of where, especially for divers, that they would want to explore, that we would want to avoid as letting the area to reproduce and read on its own, use technology, especially with, let's say, the virtual reality, to create experience that people actually have to be present there, but still be able to see how the flora and fauna is flourishing. So you're using technology on that front as well, and in benefit of maintaining a balance on the nature side, but also still showcasing the beauty of everything that I think that people would want to see. So again, technology should not only be seen as a, let's say, a force that will change the way we live, but it can also be used as a tool to enhance certain parts of it.
Thank you so much for that, Miles. Do any of the panelists would like to add something to Miles' intervention on the role of technology and in responsible tourism? Stavros?
Yes, about technology, my opinion is now with AI, it's more easy. I think in the next years will be much more easier. We can use for building houses, building hotels. We can use technology because technology is a road, a way to go further. So we can find some new materials, new things. Yesterday, no, on Monday, I thought I was watching another event in island innovation, and they found with technology a new way of building houses and products with 3D printing. So we have to use technology for that. We have to use technology. With technology, we are going to find some solutions about the water, the salt water, spending less energy. Of course, with technology, we have to educate the travelers and the staff, of course, the people. Technology, it helps more. It's much more easier. Even with the social media, we can educate through social media the people. So we have to create prototype of people, we have to try to the prototype, the people, the actors, the all of these kind of things we have to push in this way. So must be prototype. So the people and the new generation is going to follow this. So again, that comes through technology with social media, for example. If the people they support this, the famous people they support this, that is going to be, and this is our future about the new generation, not only the older people, the new generation to have this mentality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stavros, for your participation. I'm going to address one of the questions that we have here on the Q&A box is about housing. I would advise you, Juan Alberto, to please check out the session that we held on Monday, Housing versus Tourism. We had a lot of experts regarding that discussion that is currently on fire, let's say, right now in the global north. So please refer to that session. We had a lot of panelists there discussing that. So let's go with another question for Alejandra. This comes from Erin Wextacker. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Dear Alejandra, after spending some time on El Hierro, I got the impression that local decision makers were very early conscious in avoiding the quantitative growth trap that other Canary Islands are caught in, according to his opinion. It seems that El Hierro really respects the ceiling of its tourism capacity. Do you think that strategy is a foundational part of its sustainable model?
Thank you. Yes, 100%. I think that is something that is very important to take into consideration, of course, the size of the island. Now, El Hierro is one of the smallest islands in the Canaries. So basically, I think this is what was one of the issues that was more concerning from the very beginning, because of course the capacity of the island itself was one of the main issues when they started discussing. So answering your question, I think this is one of the most important things to take into consideration when planning. Actually, the capacity of the island itself, because if we do not do this, we end up having much more other problems. I just want to address, for example, I'm also from Mexico. I forgot to mention this, but in Mexico we have, as you know, also very a variety of islands, and one of them is Holbox Island, which you might have also heard. And we've also had like a big problem over there in terms of not really being able to measure the capacity of how many tourists were able to be held within the island, and this led to a lot of problems involving not just the tourists, but as well the people living there. So I think addressing and being able to understand the limitations of the place itself is one of the key factors that can determine the success on how to do the planning and implementing all these policies. So yeah, answering your question, I think this is imperative for all future destinations.
Thank you so much, Alejandra, for that. We have a question here from Prakash Ramya for you, Hafsa. How can Zanzibar and other small islands market themselves as sustainable tourism destinations and keeping authenticity as well?
Sorry, can you repeat that? It sort of got stuck for a second.
How can Zanzibar and other small islands market themselves as sustainable tourism destinations and at the same time keeping the authenticity of the islands?
Yes. Well, the authenticity part is probably the most challenging part, because obviously with influx of tourists, you know, the authenticity part is bound to change. But we're currently advocating quite a lot is to preserve our culture and heritage. And we believe that's one of the main reasons why tourists actually want to come to Zanzibar, because being just a beach destination, we're replaceable. So there's a huge emphasis, first of all, to restore and rehabilitate various historical and heritage sites, but at the same time getting the community more involved in sort of promoting the destination and using our sort of day-to-day activities and culture as part of products to promote the destination. And I believe by doing so, we'll be able to maintain our authenticity rather than changing to sort of feed off what the tourists want, if you like. But at the same time, sustainability is key, as we've all heard, for all island destinations. And at least from our side, because this has been a collective matter, we're actually seeing incredible change in the last 18 months that we have not seen in the last couple of decades. So it's very encouraging, to say the least.
Thank you so much, Hafsa, for that. We have another question. This is addressed to the whole panel. So each of you can respond it, or if any of you would like to go first, please let me know. With the global focus on reducing emissions from transportation in tourism, do you think there are adequate support mechanisms in place for small island development states to ensure a just transition that addresses both social, economic, and environmental challenges associated with the technology that requires decarbonizing of, for example, the aviation and the cruise ship industry? Any takers?
That's a very long question or definition.
Yeah.
How would you, if you recap it from the essence, which direction would you take, Christian?
I think that the challenge for small island development states, and I'm sorry to be, the voice of change here, but we islanders would like to dismiss that title and start using large ocean states. This is something that islanders around the globe would agree with me, and we had a discussion about this in a previous session. Let's use large ocean states instead. I believe that each island has a different characteristic on a different region of the globe. Sometimes the hardships are more economical, sometimes the hardships are more about the resource allocation, etc. How can we ensure a just transition that addresses social, economic, and environmental challenges, trying to go in the decarbonizing route of transportation? Miles?
Yes, I think from a let's say connectivity perspective, there's so many ways I could answer this, but I would answer it from my own experience. One of the limitations I see in the Caribbean region is connectivity within the islands. A lot of people living in the Caribbean region have not experienced in other Caribbean islands. It is cheaper to travel to Amsterdam or to go to maybe the US than actually visiting your neighbor island. So that's already a situation on its own. On the other hand, I also talk about, let's say, the giants, the big elephants in the world, and then how to not invest our resources and introducing, for example, electric flying for the Caribbean region. Electric flying is a modern way with less pollution, less offset as well in the region. But because we are we are all neighboring islands with short distances, electric flying currently is already a possibility. Of course, we can't really talk about electric flying yet from big 9-hour flights, but all of the islands next to each other, they only fly between 30 minutes, 1 hour, or 45 minutes, or even 10 minutes between in each other. And I think our islands should be used as an example to the world, where we enhance connectivity, lower pricing, accessibility for all, but also have a impact on how we move forward on it. I think specifically on that set, I would answer that it would be good if we could put all hands in the room, put the money where our mouth is, and really invest in these types of technology to connect the region.
Thank you so much, Miles. And I would also suggest to our audience member, Nikita, who posted the question, to please look on the previous BIS last year and the years before on the transportation sessions. We have discussions with experts that go about hydrogen jet fuels. There's a solution in Hawaii that we showcased last year, and examples on that we can replicate in the Caribbean and in other islands around the globe. And I would also advise everyone to please check out the Decarbonizing Island Grid session that we hosted on Monday as well about this. So with that, I would like to thank everyone for your participation today, and thank you. All of your panel interventions were remarkable, and I would like to close down the session with just something very short. And I think that we can all agree, let us work together and inspire a new era of responsible tourism on islands, one that leaves a positive legacy for generations to come by fostering a deep respect for the ecosystems and the rich cultural heritage of islands. We can ensure that tourism continues to be a force of good, contributing to the well-being of both local communities and the planet as a whole. Thank you so much. And I would like to also mention that if you missed it, on our opening session, Island Innovation is hosting with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis next year from the May 27 to the 29, 2025, the second Global Sustainable Island Summit. You're going to see information in the chat regarding how to attend and some discounts there. Thank you to our social media team for that. And I would like to also welcome you or also invite you to the next session that we have in just 45 minutes. Voices from the Caribbean, Barbuda's fight for land rights and climate justice. We will have the CEO of the Barbuda Local Council discussing this in just around 45 minutes. So please join that session. Again, thank you again, Hafsa, Alejandra, Stavros, and Miles, for your remarkable presentations. Looking forward to hearing more, and let's see each other next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.